Vamos lá. Hi there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fred Macedo, and I'm here with another Gospel at Home with my friends Ruben, Rosangela, and Rosalie. Before we start, I'm gonna ask Rosangela to make our initial prayer. Please, Rosangela.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you, Rosangela. Now I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna read and comment the Book of Spirits. The theme is the origin and knowledge of natural law. Question 619. The God provided all humans the means of knowing God's law. All many now, all may know about it, but not all understand it. Moral persons and those who desire to examine it are the ones who understand it best. Nevertheless, all will understand it someday because progress must be made. Kardec's note: the justice of multiple human incarnations springs from this principle because in each new existence, humans' intelligence becomes more developed, and they better comprehend what is good and what is evil. If everything had to be accomplished in a single existence, what would be the fate of many millions who die every day in the brutishness of the primitive state or in the darkness of ignorance, simply because they are born into a situation that they did not enable them to become enlightened? 620. Before its union with the body, does the soul comprehend God's law more clearly than after incarnating? It comprehends God's law according to the degree of its perfection, and it preserves an intuitive memory of it after uniting with the body. However, base human instincts often cause it to forget it. 621. Where is God's law written? In the conscience. If humans carry God's law in their conscience, why does it have to be revealed to them? They have forgotten or disregarded it. God has willed from them to be reminded. 622. Has God endowed certain individuals with the mission of revealing the divine law? Yes, certainly. In every age, individuals have received this mission. They are high order spirits who have incarnated with the purpose of enabling humankind to progress. 623. Haven't those who were supposed to instruct humankind in God's law sometimes erred? And haven't they often led others astray through erroneous principles? People may be led astray by those who were not actually inspired by God, and who, out of ambition, regarded themselves as having a mission that they did not, in fact, have. Nevertheless, they were geniuses, and great truths could often be found even in the midst of errors. 624. What are the characteristics of true prophets? True prophets are moral individuals, inspired by God. and who may recognize by their words and deeds. God does not employ a liar to teach the truth. 625. What is the perfect standard that God has offered to humankind as a guide and model? Look at Jesus. Jesus is the highest standard of moral perfection to which humankind on earth may aspire. God offers him as the most perfect model, and the doctrine he taught is the purest expression of God's law because he was animated by the divine spirit and was the purest being that has ever walked the earth. Is something of those who claim to teach God's law to humans have sometimes led them astray with erroneous principles. It is because they allow themselves to be dominated by strong earthly sentiments, and because they confuse the laws regulating the conditions of life of the soul with those regulating the life of the body. Many of them presented as divine laws what were really only human laws, created to serve their own passions and to dominate others. 626. Had the divine or natural laws been revealed to humankind only by Jesus? Before him, were they only known by intuition? Haven't we stated that they are written everywhere, from the remotest things? All who have meditated on wisdom have been able to understand and teach these laws. Through their teachings, though their teachings were incomplete, they prepared the ground to receive the seed. Since the divine laws are written in the book of nature, men and women are able to understand them as soon as they want to look into them. That is why the precepts of the divine laws have been proclaimed by moral persons in all ages, and also why we have encountered their elements through incomplete or altered by ignorance of superstition in the moral doctrines of all cultures that have left barbarism. Uh, I remember the book Dante's Hell uh, from a spiritual point. The Spiritists say to us that Dante really have gone to the deepest abyss of earth, seeing through hell what is like, not the church hell that uh, not the church hell, but he had seen it in like a dream in spirit, and the church didn't want that truth to be out there, so they made him edit the book to be like is nowadays. 627. Since Jesus have already taught the true laws of God, of what value are the teachings given by the spirits? Do they really have anything more to teach us? Jesus' teachings were frequently allegorical and in the form of parables because he spoke according to his time and place. But today the truth must be made intelligible for all. Everybody uh, who try to read the Bible, uh, the reading is not as is not very easy. We get confused, and there are parts that for us who don't study it, make no sense. That's why the Spiritism is the third revelation. The first one was from Moses. The second one was Jesus himself. And he made a promise that he would send us a promised comforter who would teach all the things that we must know and remind us what Jesus said and had been lost. Continuing, thus it is necessary to explain God's laws more fully and elaborate on them because there are so few who understand them and still fewer who actually practice them. Our mission, the Spirit's mission, is to awaken eyes and ears in order to confound the proud and unmask the hypocrites who display virtue and religion outwardly in order to hide their inner torpitudes. The teaching of the spirits must be clear and without error so that no one can feign ignorance, and so that all may judge it and evaluate it with their own reason. We are in charge of preparing the kingdom of God announced by Jesus. And this is why no one should be able to interpret the law of God according to his or her own passion, or distort the meaning of the law that is entirely love and charity. We know that Catholic Church has has changed a lot of things from Jesus' teachings to um, to be more powerful. One thing, when Jesus say, "Without charity, there is no salvation," the church said, "Without the church, there is no salvation." So, who is right? Jesus is right. 628. Why wasn't the truth always been within everyone's reach? Each thing must come in its own time. Truth is like light. We must accustom ourselves to it little by little, otherwise, it dazzles us. There has never been a time in which God allowed humankind to receive communications as complete and as instructive as the ones being given today. As you know, in ancient times there were only a few individuals who were in possession of what they regarded as a sacred science, and which they kept as a mystery from other individuals whom they consider as being profane. You must understand from what you just a minute. You must understand from what you know of laws of governing spirit phenomena that those individuals receive but a few scattered truths amongst an ambitious and mostly symbolic collection. Nevertheless, enlightened individuals nowadays should not discount any ancient philosophical system, tradition, or religion, because they all contain the seeds of great truths. Although they seem to contradict one another and are scattered among unfounded embellishments, today they are much easier to comprehend thanks to the key that Spiritism has provided. It's a key to an infinite number of things that until now seem unreasonable, but uh, whose reality has recently been irrefutably demonstrated. Therefore, do not fail to make those material subjects of your study. They are very rich in teachings and may contribute a great deal to your education. So, what can we say about what we have read? When Moses come has come, the people were very barbaric, and he had to make an impression to the people of a vengeful God. This was needed because uh, people were not very intelligent to perceive the reality of law. Even when Jesus came, he was crucified because people didn't want to understand the law of love, the law of forgiveness. And that's why a lot of time Jesus, instead of simply answering a question, uh, he told us parables, stories, um, like the one that there was um, a person traveling from Jericho. No, uh, uh, from Jericho. It's very hard for me to tell the story. But a person was traveling and was attacked by thieves, and the the priest passes along the way without helping him, and even a Levite doesn't want him to help either. And then a Samaritan, a tribe who was disgraced by others, stopped, stopped, treated the man, and took him to an inn, and said to the innkeeper, "Treat this man. When I come back, I will pay you everything you have spent on him." And then Jesus said to the Pharisee who had asked him, "Should I for um, Jesus told the Pharisee, who was the the good person who helped the man who has fallen in the hands of thieves?" And the Pharisee refused to say Samaritan. He said, "The one who was moved with compassion." And when I studied when I read the Bible before knowing the Spiritism, I started to read and didn't want to go on because it was so hard to understand, so difficult to me. But the Spiritism nicely explained that this is not our first life. We have a lot of lives before that, and we have much more lives after this one because we have to made our moral improvement to perfection. Someday we will be a Christ. That's why he said, "Everyone can do what I have did and more," meaning that we are destined to be perfect. But in order to be perfect, we must know all things, have all experience, and improve morally. I want to make a special prayer for our friend Carla, who has passed away a few days ago, and we are very sad for it because she committed suicide very sad thing. But life moves on, and the only way that we can help her, instead of judging, instead of being only sad about it, we must ask God, ask Jesus to take care of her, because we are immortal beings. This body is just as a sophisticated clothing. It's just for us to be here on earth. Once this body become old and cannot serve us more, we'll be spirits again, free spirits, until our next voyage in the flesh again. So this life is like a samsara. We go on to this life, we go back to the spiritual plane, we see what we have to make progress. So we are born in a specific family, we have a specific task, a profession, and so on. This is all for us to improve ourselves. Thank you all. I'll ask Rosage for a final prayer. Thank you.
We thank the good spirits who have come to communicate with us and ask them to help us put into practice the instruction they have given us. We also hope they will ensure that each uniform as at the end of the session is fortified in the practice of good and love for our neighbor. We also wish these lessons may be useful for the suffering, ignorance, or guardians spirits who were able to attend this meeting, and for whom we implore the mercy of God. God bless you all.
Thank
Good
you all.
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Until next week.